Well, let's get some other views quickly on the Phala Phala issue. Plenty of different voices on this. And I'm talking, of course, about the President, the findings by the panel, and the NEC meeting currently underway. The governance expert, Sandile Swana, has described the situation around the President as, quote, a total disgrace. He's with you now to explain his view. Sandile, good afternoon to you. Why do you say what's happened around the President is a total disgrace?
Thank you, Steve, and to your viewers. Indeed, it is a day of infamy, a day of total disgrace. I say it is a total disgrace. There are a few reasons. The first reason is that Cyril Ramaphosa, out of the two previous presidents, I exclude Mandela from this whole discussion. The two previous presidents, Mbeki and Zuma, have been removed without a formal process from power. There was no panel, independent panel to prepare any form of case. There was no impeachment committee. So this system, which was designed to remove arbitrariness and informality from the process of removing president, now the ANC is taking every possible step known to man to make sure that the process does not even get off the track. The prima facie case that has been written out by Sandile Swana and his team is exactly that. Simply to say, at face value, there is a case for Ramaphosa to answer. And the evidence that is missing, unfortunately, is the evidence that needed to come from Ramaphosa himself, and he has it, and he has not submitted it. And his comrades are now trying to scupper the whole process and say it must not start at all. And it is the first time that this formal process is being used, and they are already scattering, saying to us that they have no time for this constitution, they have no time for the rule of law in this country. And that is why I am saying this. This is a disgrace. You fail to submit evidence, and then you say, this report has got no evidence, the evidence that you are keeping away from them yourself.
I suppose the rationale, I mean, if I were a political strategist for the ANC, and I'm not, but if I were, I suppose I would not want the opposition to have the issue, because an impeachment process would take so long, it would be in public, it would go on forever and ever. I mean, that's the sort of political reality of it, isn't it?
That is the sort of political reality that is out there. So the problem we had, all of us, or most of us in South Africa, with the Zuma presidents, I'm not even saying Zuma himself, Zuma presidents and the Zuma regime, was that during that time the ANC would use majoritarianism to actually undermine every lawful process, every constitutional process, even to defy the constitutional court and to undermine the constitution. And with the coming of Ramaphosa, Ramaphosa said he's an honest man, he's a man who's bringing about a cleaning up state affairs of state. So he needed to go to the impeachment committee easily, if it is true what he's saying, easily be able to defend his case openly in front of the public, and come out clean and come out smelling like roses, looking very good because he has succeeded, because he's a man of integrity after all. No, they don't want that. They don't want it at all. They don't want the truth about Ramaphosa, which he says the truth will prove that he's innocent. They don't want that innocent to be tested at all. And that is the problem. And we understand that because there is no truth that will favor Ramaphosa in this case, indeed, the opposition will latch on to that and use it to wipe out the ANC in 2024. And that is why now the ANC is defending a president who is heavily compromised. And I must say this, my reading, and I've read the report from cover to cover, the panel report, there is nothing wrong with the report. The report is exactly what it is, what it says it is, and what it is supposed to be. And they are asking questions that should have been asked out of the impeachment committee, which are not due right now. Those questions and answers are not due right now.
Mr. Swana, to listen to you is to be reminded, I think, of what happened during the Nkandla years. And I call it the Nkandla years because it went on for so long. And in the end, Parliament, ANC MPs basically shielded, protected then-President Zuma. Is it fair to say your view could maybe be summarized as suggesting that the ANC of Nkandla and the ANC of Phala Phala are the same thing?
One and the same thing. What we're having now is Zuma version 2. And there is a common thread. The characters of Zuma version 1. The leader, for instance, of that process of Zuma version 1 was Mandasha. And you can see Mandasha becoming larger and larger again. With a mentality that you can bully any process, you can bully the judges, you can bully the lawyers, you can bully anybody and everybody at any time and rule until Jesus comes back. So we are back to the Nkandla days, and Cyril is right there smiling.
Is there any way at all, in your view, for the President and for the ANC to come out of this? I mean, maybe it would require Ramaphosa to sit down and explain to the nation what happened and to answer questions. Is there any way that he can rehabilitate himself? Or is he now, and is the ANC now stuck?
There is a very straightforward way of actually clearing this mess. It's for the ANC today to say to its members of parliament and to Ramaphosa, go and support the impeachment process. Let Ramaphosa go through the impeachment process and succeed in the impeachment process, because we are the party of Albert Lutu. We are the party of Oliver Tambo. We are a party of order and discipline. So go through that process and succeed in that process, or fail even in that process, because the country is teeming with talent. To answer another question, there is a clear, readily available alternative president to Ramaphosa. For instance, people like Phumzile Mlambo Ngcuka can take over the next day as president of this country and make a success of it, compared to the failures we've been experiencing up to this point.
How do you think the ANC is going to come out of its conference? Do you think that it's going to be able to find some unity? Do you think it's going to come out of it divided? Do you think in 2024 we're actually going to see opposition parties taking power from the ANC? And I should tell you, we just spoke to a colleague of yours, Professor Beki Ngomazulu, who made the point that opposition parties themselves are still very weak. I mean, do you think we're going to have this kind of turmoil just continually in our politics?
I don't think we're going to have any turmoil. And I'll explain this. But the ANC itself is going to have turmoil, and we must not confuse the turmoil of the ANC. Am I still online?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay.
You are.
Okay, thank you. So the turmoil that we're facing is the turmoil of the ANC, not the turmoil of South Africa. Right now, I've been very pleased to see that the DA is starting to realize that they've got to step onto the plate in 2024. Herman Mashaba, already in the November elections last year, came out of there and said he's preparing already for 2024. The opposition parties can put together a competent cabinet that can perform better than the ANC cabinet. I have no doubt about that. So we don't need to even worry about it. Number two, the unity of the ANC is about strengthening the protection racket against justice. So Ramaphosa has run into that protection racket. He's a part of the protection racket that people who are supposed to face justice run into. There is now a member of that. Whether that is going to produce unity, I do not know. But this protection of Ramaphosa, there are people who are opposed to it, and it could even deepen the divisions in the ANC. Some of the people supporting the ATM and the EFF and so on. So the ANC is becoming weaker and weaker and less relevant.
Well, there's so much to look at, really, isn't there? Sandile Swana, thank you very much indeed. Governance expert, strong views coming from him.